Hope everybody is well. It is Tuesday, the day after the eclipse. So I'm sure everybody must be busy. Everybody must be so busy because it doesn't look like we have a huge audience, but that's okay. If you could and you have not already, please do me a favor and hit that like button so that we can get this stream notification sent out there. And also, if you're on Twitter, I did put out a tweet. If you don't mind retweeting that up, that would be great if you're on there. But I do realize it's the middle of the week, as always. And anyway, today's stream is something that I have promised to do a couple weeks back. And I know there were a lot of people who reached out to me and said that they wanted to see this kind of a stream. So what we're doing is we're going to do a capacitor kit ordering here. And we're not going to do a specific kit for any certain TV or really device or hardware. What we're going to do is we're going to order or put together an order of capacitors so that you would have a decent amount stocked up in your shop, your lab, or just heck, even a little spot wherever if you decide to do soldering. I'm going to show you how to get a good little bit of capacitors ready and set up there. So thanks everybody for jumping in. Thanks to Jake, Robcat, Try, Optimum, and Mega Cards for showing up and dropping in the chat there. And if you have any questions, that's why I wanted to do this one kind of live like this. You can drop those questions and we'll work through this. Today I am looking at Mauser. So you do have choices depending on, of course, where you live. Now, where I live, the best the best option for me has been Mauser. And so I tend to always try them first. But there are going to be times where you're going to have to find capacitors or parts that won't be available in one with one specific vendor. Okay? But what's the point of this? All right, what's the point of this? I want you, again, to be able to have a stock of capacitors. If you want to, you can come here and check this out. This will kind of guide you on how to order them, what to look for, what not to look for. First things first, you may want to have something to store all these things in. I have a very old school parts shelving unit that I have here that I found that I use to stock up and hold my capacitors. It has shelving, drawers that can come all the way out and then be divided up. Let me show you what I have here. And then inside I have capacitors. And these are all organized a certain way. So you could consider something like that. If you can't, obviously this one is old and has some unique character, but you can find modern versions of these at your hardware store. Secondary option would be something like these kind of containers. It's real shaky and noisy, I know. But a container like this will help you with organization on these parts. Once you get them in, you're going to get a lot of parts in, and you're going to want to have an easy way to work through them instead of just keeping them in the bags that they'll come in from the Mauser workshop or from the Mauser factories. So anyway, please, again, if you're out there and with us today, let me know if you have any questions along the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep this to a couple brands. Again, I'm at Mauser, and I've got a shopping cart here that is completely empty. Now, if you're going to order from Mauser, you need to go ahead and create an account and log in. I just don't want to do that, so I can go ahead and make a shopping cart here with the parts. And I'm going to give you basically tips on how to get through this, navigate through this website specifically, and start our capacitor kit. Now we're going to get some common values out of the way, and that's what we're going to build from. Okay, so there's going to become times when you're going to run into capacitors that are going to be kind of lower voltage on a board, And the good thing, we need to always remember the rules of capacitors first off, and that's that you can always change your voltage. And that just means that you can actually use, you can increase the voltage on a part and it will do no harm to the board. Now, you can't decrease the voltage from what is specified on that board or that device, but you can increase the voltage. Now, the microfarad rating, you don't want to really mess with that unless you know what you're doing and there's a call that you can change a part, or if there is a manufacturer recommendation to switch out a part, you can do that. But the rule of thumb is to keep everything the same, but you are able to go up in voltage. We can also do things like increase our durability by kind of maintaining a certain quality on our order. And that's going to be to, sorry about that. That's going to be to order parts that are 105 degree temperature rated, pretty much. So just those are good rules of thumb. You don't really have to worry much about it. We're going to, but we're going to start again in here. And I'm going to start with a common value. And let me see here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type in aluminum electrolytic capacitors. I'm just going to type that in, and it's going to pull up a nice search menu. Let me resize this on this screen so that you can see everything and not just portions of the screen there. And there we go. That should be a little better. Let me zoom in a little bit. And this is what it does. You type in aluminum electrolytic capacitors over here, and this is the starting point for us. We have almost 81,000 capacitors to choose from. That's how many are listed on this website, okay? Which is a ton if you're just like, oh, what do I do, right? We're going to use some filters, and we're going to work through these filters, and that's the way we're going to move and get our order started. Let me change one thing for you. Myself... we go. Way I can get a better view. And Jake was asking, is there resistor values per band on caps? Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by that for resistor value. The most of the time, all you're going to find in a device or service manual is just the voltage rating, and you're only going to find the voltage rating and the microfarad rating most of the time. Okay, so you're not going to get other ratings for the capacitors, generally speaking. So you're going to have to make some calls. But again, we're not. This is more of a general cap to have. It doesn't need to be too expensive. It just needs to get the job done 95% of the time. You're always going to run into that situation where you're going to have to order a specific part, probably for something. If it's a much higher end device and it needs to find, and you need a specific capacitor, you'll have to do that individually. But this is going to be good to get you started. Again, it's not meant to be perfect. It's not going to have you with a. You're not going to have every single capacitor you need. So we're gonna get in here and we're gonna start our order off, and I'm gonna start off. And so let's say you're gonna find, hey Ronnie, you're gonna find a lot of capacitors that are gonna be rated similarly, where they'll have the same microfarad rating, but you may want to consolidate your order. Because nowadays, like instead of ordering a 10 microfarad capacitor for your stock, again, we'll use this voltage rule. Hey, time. We'll use this voltage rule. So like if you have a device that you're like, okay, this device has 16 volt, 10 microfarad capacitor that I need to replace in it. My back stock, I don't really have to have a 16 volt. I can have a 25 volt. So the 25 volt takes care of everything that would be 16 volt and lower. Okay, so you might just so you're like, well, I don't really need to order 16 volt capacitors then, or 10 volt capacitors. I don't need either of those for my back stock. I think 25 volts is a good starting point for that low end, and then we will use 16 when it gets to a point. When we go up in microfarads high enough, we're going to try to get a little bit of parts that are going to be 16 volts, but that's going to be way high up there in the microfarad reading. So what we're going to do is we're going to start down here, and thanks, non-player character. I am in good health. Look, we're going to start down here at this voltage. Hey, Demo Kirby. And hopefully, yeah, I can give you this shopping cart or post it somewhere once we're done with the stream. So we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to first select in stock. You see down here, we always want this to be in stock, or at least this time. We're not going to put normally stocked because there's not going to be, some of these parts are going to be obsolete. And they may not be normally stocked all the time. Now, that leaves us, that immediately cuts it down to 25,000 capacitors that are in stock. So there's a lot of capacitors in here that are on order. So we don't want to really do that unless we cannot find anything in stock. So we're going to do that. We're going to come in here for our product, and for our stock, we're going to come to the product side, and we're going to just go with this general purpose electrolytic capacitors. That'll cut it down to 6,400. Okay. What's some other things? Oh, is there a temperature rating? It's not giving us a temperature rating availability, but we do have voltage and capacitance, so we'll start with that. We'll also go over here to termination style. We're going to be looking at radial. That's just these type of capacitors that we're using 90% of the time. We could do this with SMD cap kits, but this is what we're looking at. These, okay? These. Let's focus. Focus. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. And that's a radial capacitor. Got that selected. Here's our brands. Here's some other things. Let's start with our voltage rating, okay? Now, let's think about this. We may even want to, I mean, we're going to order the large percent of this order. The most common are going to be these 25 volts and then 50 volts. So let's just make this real easy on ourselves. We're going to run through and we're going to put together a list of 25 volt capacitors that are very common that you could put in your kit. And then we're going to do 50 volts. And then what we might do is we're going to review the list of 50 and 25, and we're going to decide which of the two that we're going to, well, we can even maybe keep that list like that, or we can cut down on some of the 25 voltage ones and just use 50 volts instead. So the first thing we want is 25 volts. Now, the most common, you're not going to run into 25 volt, and the lowest, generally speaking, you're going to run into is a 1025, okay? And actually, I know we all love jazz, right? So I'm going to just turn it down, though. I don't really want it to be any distraction to today's show if you're playing back this somewhere. So we're gonna start with the 25 volt, and we're gonna go with the 10 microfarad. Okay, we're gonna apply filters, and that's gonna cut us down to 28. All right, and from this, we're gonna narrow it down a little bit more. I want to only select 105 degree temperature capacitors, and let's see now what that does. Is that gives us, how many parts does that give us? 11 to choose from. So let's go in here now, and we're going to just hit the price organizer, and we're going to organize these based on the cost, because let's see how it does if we do that, because it's not really doing a great job. It's throwing the costs all over the place. Here we go. So the cheapest option for us is going to be a 10-cent capacitor if we just want one of them. Okay? That's not really that great, though. I do like Worth. These are the red capacitors you see me use. But I don't want to start any controversy. So I'm going to up the quality here and go with the brands that people really love. And we're going to try to keep it on the higher end, okay? And what that means is we're going to go with the more well-known brands. That will put us at something else here to build out this. Because that would, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think they're fine, but that's probably going to cut out Worth and Kemet. They're fine, but I think that our first real option, see, these are end of life, which means they're not going to be restocked. Or they will be restocked, actually. Okay. But let's see what we've got here. We're going to at least order 10 for our kit. Okay? 25 volt 10. We're going to order 10 of these to start. Now, to pick the right one, we've got obviously a lot of choices here, and honestly, we would be fine to use and pick any of these. But I want to also make this something that doesn't cost a ton of money. So I'm looking at you get a price break at 10. You see here? Like this drops each unit 10 cents if I order 10 of them. If I wanted to order more, like 100, I'd get an even bigger price break. But that's too many. Let's go with something that's regularly stocked. We can even look at this specific data sheet here. Now, this is a stumpy capacitor. I've ordered some of these, so you can tell they're going to be squished in size, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at this, the manufacturer. That's what this means, though. This is going to be not a good one to really put on this list because it's eventually going to be discontinued, and that's probably why it's cheaper. So if we wanted to take advantage of this, we could do this, but then we start looking at what characteristics we have down here. This is going to be pretty standard. All of them are going to be, I bet, around the same size as far as lead spacing and length. The problem we're going to come to down here, though, we're going to look at is this. 1,000-hour life, and then we could even look at the ripple current, 22 milliamps. Okay, that's one option. I don't think it's a very good option, though. Let's try to find something that is, let's check out Panasonic is a very good brand. Let's check out this Panasonic right here. We've got that's a 3,000 hour. Let's open this one. Let's see what this is. This one's a little bit cheaper. It has a similar on both ends. Okay. So we want to see if we can find something that's a little bit higher rated for our kit. So maybe not those. We want to at least get a couple of 1,000-hour rating. Okay. So maybe we go over here and that will give us 2, that will give us 2, and that will give us 1. So let's see what we have at double that life. 2 capacitors, a Worth, and a Cornell doubler. So we're not even going to find anything from these other manufacturers in stock. Isn't that? So you start getting these, you start making these adjustments, and we haven't even taken into consideration size or anything like that. You can't be too picky. You just have to go with what you can find, and it's still okay. So that's our 2,000-hour option. Let's knock that off. Oh, a lot of these are just going to be fine because they're not going to usually need that much of a high rating, but you are going to get, again, better ratings from these. Look at this. This pricing is even lower. The Worth and the Cornell doubler. Cornell doubler is the highest, is the most expensive one, and it's got the highest rating. Well, we're just going to, let's check out this. What's this one rated at? We're going to 1,000 hours. So there's no reason to pay extra for that one. and I don't want to get an end-of-life product. Are both of these other Panasonics 1,000 hours only? Yes. Okay. Well, we're just going to go with that because that's kind of our best. You see, either picking brand or you're picking another brand that gives you more time. So let's pick out just one of these that of these we might as well just go with this one because it's going to give us the lowest price, and it's a Panasonic, and it will do everything we need to do. Okay, that's our first item. So 10 of those is going to cost us $1.17. We're going to continue shopping. We're going to come up here, and we're going to leave this 25 volt DC. I'm going to leave radial in here. I'm going to get rid of this capacitance. And what else do I need to get rid of? That's probably it. Let's get rid of our capacitance. Let's move on. So if we start at 10, what's after 10? The next one we're going to probably run into is we'll run into 22 microfarads. That's pretty common, okay? Hey, Chris. No problem. Welcome in. So you got that one. All right, this is the long process. That's why we're going to hang out and work through this, see how far we can go, how much time I've got, because I've got to get over to Jake. I got to get Jake's PVM shipped off. But yeah, so what does that 1,000-hour rating mean? That just means that at 105 degrees, that capacitor is going to stay. If you keep it that hot, it's going to be good for at least 1,000 hours, is what the rating is. And then it's going to start to break down after that. Possibly. It doesn't mean it actually will. Now, most devices aren't going to run that hot. And if they are, the capacitors that you're going to use around that spot are not going to be 25 volt 10 microfarads. They're going to be higher voltage, or they're going to be high. Most of the time they'll be higher voltage and higher rated. So you may have to buy a higher end capacitor with more life if it's in a hotter zone. Okay, that's where we'll kick up that voltage rating. We'll go above this. We'll go to 50, and you'll see we'll start getting some better longevity. So as long as we're at that 105, we're doing much better because that's 20 degrees higher than the 85. Okay, I don't really like to use 85. Okay, I can if I have to. It's okay if you have to, but in this day and age, we can put 105 if we can get them. It's a much better product. It'll last a lot longer, especially when you're replacing capacitors that you're always going to be fine. You'll run into those higher end devices will have 105s and 85s, but if you just go with 105, you're always safe, and you get longer life out of it, a lot more than the 85. Okay, that's just, think about it. You're running over voltage, over temperature with a 105. If you're hitting that 90 degrees, you're going over that 85. So that's really all just about temperature rating, has to do with the durability and how long the capacitor will last before it breaks down and fails. I'm sorry. Let's get back here, and we're going to maintain that that idea to go with the 22 or the higher end brands. We got some Panasonics to deal with. Let's see what happens if I go up to I'd like to get a 2,000 hour, but I bet it's going to limit us on the brand. Cornell Doubler. Okay. And that's super expensive. Like, this would be the high end one. Cornell Doubler is actually a really good brand. But I want to stick with the brands everybody knows. So we're going to get rid of that 2,000 hour requirement. I bet you Panasonic, or we can find a Rubicon. I want to do Rubicon, but I don't want to do these end-of-life products. So we're going to do Panasonic again. Let's look at price now. We're only going to get 10 of these. So let's go ahead and go with, what's this one? This one's at about 13 cents for 10 or 16 cents. I think the only difference is the size on these. No, they're some similar sizes. it's a B and a non-B. These are pretty much the same. We're going to just, there's no point in spending the extra. We're going to get 10 of these. Continue shopping. And then we're going to move up from there. And we're going to go to, eventually, I promise, we're going to get some better brands when we get these larger voltage capacitors. All right, let's move up to 47, okay? We're going to do 47. So we've got 10, 22 microfarads, and now 47 microfarads. There we go. We got 20. We're starting to get more. Good. Starting to get more options. A lot more life options over here. Actually, look at this. We're getting some lead spacing options. So you have some really tiny leads or some double 5 millimeter. So if you know which one you want to get, let's see which one's more common. I bet you it's 2. 2 is the most common. Okay. So let's get rid of that. But that's not really a big thing. We're not worried about that. Any of those will fit in your, they're all the same size diameter, and the legs will bend. See how they're all 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 6.3 millimeter. They're all roughly the same size, the capacitors are. They are, some of them are a little longer, but that doesn't really hurt you. So, all right, let's go in here. How many had 2,000 hours, 3,000 hours? Let's go with the 2,000 hour and see what we got. It gives us 5. Kemet, Cornell doubler. Man. All right, look at this. We got a Cornell doubler here that is, ooh, it's a good price for 10. 9 cents. I want to see what this says. But this is the Illinois capacitor brand. 2,000 hours. All right. This is a good one. We'll go with 10 of these. Buy. That's only 94 cents. So we're rolling through good. Okay. Let's clear that out. We're going to get rid of that 2,000 hours and get rid of that 47. And now we're going to go 100. Apply filters. Let's see, that's going to give us a lot. See, it says we have 30 in stock. So now we're actually getting to some. Let's see if we can jump our brand. Let's see what Rubicons we even have. We have 5 Rubicons available, it says. Yes, and they're actually in stock. Look at this. General purpose. Let's look at these two. How much are they? 10 cents. Let's see what we've got here. I love it. This is a Rubicon 25 volt 100 microfarad 1,000 hours though. That's the only issue. Let's see what we got. If we can go up, do a little, because this is a really common. This one we're going to actually order more of. Is there any that gives, they only give us a price break on 100. I don't know that you really need 100 to start, but I do want to order 20. So we're going to go with at least 20. What's the next step up? We got some, I don't really want to jump to that one. This one's in stock, not end of life. Call you. Oh, look at this. See, this is a much better value. 5,000 hours, okay? That's what you really want to be looking at. Make sure it's not too crazy big. It's a 5 millimeter in diameter. Let's see what the other one was. It's 5 millimeters in diameter too. All right, cool. So yeah, we're going to go with, we're going to take that extra, whoops. Wait, what did I do? Let me view my card. I might have just added one of them. Yeah, one of them. Okay, I'm going to update that to 20 because that's going to be a part we're going to use a lot. So it's only $2.64 for 20 of them. And that's all good. Okay. Continue shopping. La-di-da-di-da. We're almost through the 25 volts here. We're going to kick this out. We're going to kick out Rubicon, and we're going to go back to the main search at 25 volts, and we're going to go for the next one you're going to jump up to is 220. Okay? Here we go. 220. All right, sorry. We're still not worried about this stuff, but you can tell these things do start to get big. We don't want one of these hugely massive ones. Kind of want to keep these still on the smaller side. Let's look at the Rubicons again. We have 8 Rubicons. So now once you get to this, you can just straight up choose. And for example, we can get Rubicons that are... We have selections in the Rubicons that... All right, there's only one that's 1,000 hours, so we'll reset that. We'll just keep it with Rubicon for this demonstration when we have them. And we're going to go with the not out-of-life products. And then we look at price. It's 25,220 is one we should go ahead and order 10 of. I bet this is going to be a good one. Low impedance general usage one. This one might be the one we want to go with right here. Let's see what this says. One. Oh. Okay, guys. Sorry. OBS. So weird. Just disconnected. Now it's coming back. I think everything's okay. It's telling me it's all right. So somebody let me know in the chat if everything's running smooth. I'm going to keep rolling as if it is. But I did get a crash notice, and then it just a second comes right back. All right, so let's see what we can do. If there, what's our other option? It's this one. Does this have any higher rating? Wow, it's a 7,000 hour, and it's not big on the diameter. We're gonna go with this one. It's got stock here. We're gonna go with 10 of these. Okay. That's the one. See how it's 7,000 hours? So much better. Thanks, everybody, for letting me know. Jake and Ronnie. All right, if you're just coming in, again, we're building this cap kit for us, and you can go back and watch the archived beginning if you need more help on introduction to this, but we're just rolling through right now the 25 volts. And if you have not already, please do me a favor, drop a like on the stream. That way others can find this and be aware we're doing this live. Appreciate you guys helping each other out with your questions too in the chat there. Let's move on from 220. And let's just keep the Rubicon listing on there so we don't have a lot of choices and we can move a little quicker. We've got 220, 470. That is a very common one. Now, just to be safe, you never know. You'll run into 330 occasionally. But instead of ordering 25 330, that's the kind of capacitor. Maybe we'll just go 50 volts. And that'll take care of every 330 we'll ever run into. So let's get rid of that. Let's go 470 because that's going to be a lot. We're going to run into 16 volt 470s, 25 volt 470s a lot. Let's see what Rubicon has to offer here. These are good prices. Let's see the top one. As long as it's 2,000 hours, I'm happy. But these are, a lot of these are just rated for 1,000 hour. This is going to be one that we're going to need to get into a hotter zone. So we're going to want to try to find something that has a higher rating. Let's see. I mean, I hate to really jump up in the price so high on those, because we're starting to get where they're a quarter a piece, if not higher. This is going to be eventually discontinued. However, this has such a good long life. 7,000 hour rating. We're going to have to go for it even though it says it's the end of life. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. So we're going to go put 10 of these because it's only $250 for those. That's what we're going to do. Jake, I think it is possible, but I'll be honest with you, I don't do that. But I think you can do things like run things in parallel to actually change the capacitance. I'm not, again, I try to not do that unless unless I'm replacing where they've already done that as a factory install, if that makes sense. Let's get rid of our 470. We're going to stick with Rubicon because that's what we started with. You're going to rarely run into... Now, this is where we're going to start running into higher prices. We're going to want to have some of these. I do not see 560s very often. Or 680. The next one is going to be 1000. This is one we're going to see a lot. This looks like we're going to get a good choice here. 2,000 hours, maybe. Here we go. This looks like our only choice. How much are these? We're going to get 10 of these. They are rated for 2,000 hours, which makes... There's not very many in stock, though. Look at that. All right, let's go back to our search results first. Something's got to change. I just had 2,000 hours selected. Is that it? There's only... It says there's 7. Oh, because I didn't have the right... I see. Sorry about that. I didn't have it selected over here. We're going to 1,000. So there's only one Rubicon. All right, we're going to have to remove Rubicon for this one. And a lot of people are like, this is why I order Worth brands. It's so much easier to find it. But again, we're going to do this so everybody can feel comfortable. Let's see what we get if we remove that. And let's go to 1,000 over here. And then we can kick out those. All right. Let's go with a nice 2,000 hour rating. That'll give us 10 results. Different brands. There's our one Rubicon, but there's only 900 in stock. I don't want that. See, we're starting to get up higher in pricing. We're going to go with something that's well stocked. We're going to jump over here and go back to Panasonic. We're going to order 10 of these or 10 of these. We're going to have 10 of these because there's 9,000 in stock. I think this is going to be the one. 2,000 hours, yes. It's not got a high ripple current rating. Okay, this one will do. We want 10 of these. And we're going to just go a couple more beyond this. We're going to get rid of this 1,000 and we're going to go 2,000. We're going to keep that 2,000 hour rating. And this is going to be our final capacitor for 25 volts. 2,200 microfarad, because you will run into that. We're gonna all right, so we've got 8 results here. These, look at the price here. We're getting up in price. These are starting to get expensive. What's this Rubicon? The Rubicon 2,000 hours, 25 volt. We're going with this one. But that's going to cost, look at that one capacitor. Oh my word. That's the most expensive one. All right, let's look at this. This is the whole 25 volt capacitor kit. Here's what I'm going to do. This one is not one that we're going to need 10 of. It's just too darn expensive. It pushes our budget way out of that. So we can get 10 for $876. Gosh, or for half that, we can get about 4. So I'm going to lose that one and cut down on the cost. That's what I'm going to do. Or should we just keep it with the 4? Or, I mean, the price break. So if we go down and we change this, see, right now we're at Subtotal of 33.54. If we go down to 4 and update, it takes $4.30 off. Okay. So let's do that just to give us a little bit. I want to keep this on a decent budget. $30, under $30 for the 25 volt capacitor kit is nice. Okay. So that gives us 25 volt 10 microfarad, 22 microfarad, 47 microfarad, 100 microfarad, 20 of those, because that's a very common one. Then we're going to go up to, which one is this? See, that's the problem with them. They don't tell me everything. Where is it? 47, 100, 220, 470, 1000, 22, 8 capacitors. That's it. That's all you need for your 25 volt kit for $30 shipped. But we're going to get this order a little bit better. We're going to go back to continue shopping. Electrolytic capacitors. Come on, baby. So is everybody staying with me so far? This is redundant, but we're going to roll through it. We're going to get back in here. Aluminum electrolytic capacitors. We're going to go general purpose. We're going to go radial. That's what we need. In stock. And now we're going to that next voltage category, which is 50. Okay? 50 volts DC. Then we're going to go and we're going to look at capacitance. Now we're going to start getting these lower capacitance. Okay? So right now, we're at 50 volts and we're going 47. Sorry to screw all that up. Let's see what that gives us. Man, 50 volt, 47, general radial. Gosh, is that really all that spits back? If I get rid of radial, what does it do? Doesn't change that. Man. Whoa. Is there really only this many options? Because these are not going to be restocked. These are the end of the life. They're not coming back in stock once they're gone. So you're going to need a lot of these. We're going to break the rules now. We're going to go with worth because they give us a price break on 50, and that's what we're going to do on some of these. Which one of these has two? I mean, we haven't even been able to pick. Let's see what happens. We have one remaining. How is that possible? That seems insane. But this is the one we're going to go with. I swear. Sometimes you get in here, man. I'm afraid that one time we're going to start looking at this and we're not going to have any parts in these freaking websites. They're going to just cut these like capacitors off. I don't know what the hell we're going to do then. Wow. I mean, I thought there were going to be more than that. No, there's nothing wrong with worth. I use them a lot, especially these lower microfarads. There's nothing. You have to use them. Like what are you going to do? All right. 50, we're going to get rid of this. I mean, you can get rid of like general purpose and it will give you some other types. I know, right? That would be the only thing that would phase us out if they stopped selling us parts. All right, we're going up to the next one, which is going to be 1 microfarad. 50 volt, 1 microfarad. Apply filters. Oh, we definitely want to keep this on here. 105 degrees. Okay, 15, that's better. Got some Rubicons again. in stock, not thrown out with the other stuff. What are these? 1,000 hours, of course. All right. Look at the price break we're going to get up here if we go with worth again. What are these rated? I guarantee these are rated 2,000 hours or more. Yep, 2,000 hours. This is why you go with worth. Okay. We're going to get 50 of these too. No. I didn't get 50, did I, the first time? Man, that seems like a lot of that one. Right, well, we're building a cap kit. Good stock of these. We're going to use a ton of these throughout the lifetime. And let me just show you, if we go in here, how much of those parts. Look, we're getting 50 of those capacitors. Look at the price at the end of the day. You're getting a ton of these. It's only costing you $5 less than $5 for your deal there. Now, if you feel like that's way too many, you can back this down, but you're not going to get the big price cut unless you get 50. And we're trying to build a cap kit here, stock. So let's take advantage of some of these price cuts. Get rid of 1 microfarad. We're going up to the next one. Some of these we're not going to. Now, this is ones we're going to order less of, but we are going to need a 2.2. So I'm only going to get 10 of these. This is not something we're going to run through a lot on. $10. Panasonic. 5,000 hour. Let's do it. That's good. 10. All right, move on. We're going to go up to, we're going to do a 3.3. Because you'll randomly get a set. You'll do a whole cap kit. And yeah, price increase on the caps. You'll do a whole cap kit. You'll get everything ready on a job. And you'll run into like this cap where you just need one of this silly capacitor that's a, again, a 50 volt 3.3 or like a 25 volt 3.3 or 16 volt 3.3 microfarad capacitor. Let's just get 10 of these. And we've got some Panasonics here. Which one we got here? I like this one. But this one's going to do good. Let's see. 1,000 hour. No, you're not. We're going to go for a little bit higher rating than that. Let's see what this one is. 5,000 hours is good. We're going to go for 10 of these. We don't need a huge amount of these either. Yes, sir. Bob, let's go. 4.7 is our next one. There's a lot of these in stock. This is good news. Okay, so we're going to take 10 again of these to get started. We should probably do a few more of these. This is one we're going to read. We're going to need more. We're going to need more than 10. We're going to get 20 of these. Let's see if we can. What's our 2,000 hour? How many we got if we do that? Narrow it down a little bit. Got some good worths here. We're going to see if we can get something better. What else we got? Cornell Doubler. Lelon. 9 cents. Those are Cornell Doublers are just like, they're like the caviar priced capacitors. All right, worth wins. 20 of them. Cole snoring if you can hear it. All right, now we're going to jump up And we're going to skip all these because we're not going to. I've never seen a 5.6, a 6.8, and 8.2. We're going up to 10. This is going to be one we're going to see a lot of. 50 volt 10 is a very, very, very common capacitor. So we would be wise to take advantage of Worth's price break for 50 of them, because that's one I promise you're going to use a lot. Let's make sure this one's a 2,000 hour. They're going to give us a price break. Yes, this is the one we want. We're going to go do that. So this is how we're building this. You guys keep going with this kind of stuff, right? If you understand, like we're just going to keep upping it, but I am going to be able to help you mostly with telling you which ones you're going to see more often than not. That's really the biggest thing I can offer. We will see some 22s, some 50 volt 22s. We'll pick up 10 of these. Hang on, guys. All right. Let's get back to this. We're looking at the 50 volt 22s. We're only going to get 10 of these, so we can go with a different quality, higher quality one, or well-known brand. There's a lot of these popping up. Let's see what we got for 2,000 hours. 5. Let's just apply those filters. It's an easy way to cut a lot of the slack out. Let's see what shows up. Of course, the usual suspects. Let's go with it. 10. Who gives me a price break at 10? Anybody? Kemet, not bad. Cornell Doubler. Let's take them on. Let's go with the Cornell Doublers. Take advantage of their 10 price break. It's about the same price on any of those if we order just 10. And we don't need more than 10 of that. That's not a hugely common one. 33. Let's do the same thing. Let's see if we can find a cheap one to get 10 33s. I think we're going to go with Cornell Doubler again, probably. Yeah. $33 microfarads. Continue shopping. This is going to be super easy because we're just going to... right? It'd be nice, Jake, if I could get some... I don't know about cab. I think the capacitors are absolutely the same. I don't think it matters. That doesn't really have anything to do with the color processing on the question is, does NTSC and PAL screens have any difference? Like, is there a different type of capacitor? There's not a specific one for each one of those. Because if it was a black and white TV, it would have the same kind of capacitor problems in it, and that has no color processing. So you could technically not, it doesn't matter if it's NTSC or PAL then, so there would be never any problem. All right, we're going, sorry about that break. Just want to answer that question. And so we just did 33. We're going to go up to 47, skip a few. 50, 47 is a pretty common one. Worth makes a good one. And that's probably what we should pick. We're going to order 20 of these. Let's go with the Cornell Doubler. They're offering better pricing right now. We're going to get 20 of those because that's a very common 50, 47. 50 volt, 47 microfarad, more common than not used. All right, let's go up. The next one we need is 100. Another one we're going to want to get like 20 of. Very common. 50 volt 100. I like it. We're just getting some good old deals from Cornell Doubler. We're going to take them up on their deal, and we're going to go with 20 of these. We're going to go from 100 microfarads up to 220. We're going to skip the rest because we don't run into those other values very much. 50 volt 220. We can get 10 of these. Let's start off with 10 of them. Because we're starting to get where the pricing is going up. Man, even worth starting to get 50 cents a unit. $0.80 for that Panasonic. We're probably going to take this top Panasonic because we can get 10 of those for 36 cents a piece. Okay. And then we're going to go up from 220 to 470 or 330. 50 volt 330 is such an oddball. You probably won't run into it. Let's skip over 330. We're going to go for this one. Or we'll be here all day ordering capacitors. Let's go with the Panasonic 50 volt 470. I like theirs. They're going to give us a good deal if we get 10 of those. We've got a huge, wonderful cap kit ready to go and be ordered now. We're getting somewhere. We're about to be all the way done with the 50s. The next one we're going to do is 1,000, and that's going to be it for 50 volt. We won't really run into many 50 volt higher than 50 volt 1000s, and these are going to start to get real expensive. So we're going to have to take price into consideration. Look at that lovely Panasonic. We can get 10 for $8. So we're going to go with, man, those are expensive. 4. We're going to get 4 of those because they're going to be $4 again. See how much they start to get up in price once you start to get the higher voltage, higher microfarad rating, higher everything. The price just starts to build. So let's go. We are past 50 volt DC. We're going to skip 100. We're going to go to 160. Okay? We're going to skip 100. We're going to 160. We're going to order some 161 microfarads because that's going to be kind of common. These are good. We're going to take what we can get. We got 3 choices here, folks. We're going to go with this top one, and we're going to go for 10 of them from Panasonic. 160 volt, 1 microfarad. Now we're going to go up to the next microfarad value, which is going to be 2.2. And we are going to go all the way up here. We're going to go and order 10 of these. We only have one choice. We're going to return to search results. What did I just get? 2.2 or 3.3? I forgot. Let's open our cart and see. Let's see, I would have gotten 1, 2.2, so I'm on 3.3. We're going to get 10 of these, so we're going to go with this one right here. Buy. Continue. Man, we're getting there. We are getting there. We're going to go to 4.7. Same thing. We need these because you're going to run in where you're going to have a couple of these kind of show up. 4.7, right? Yeah. Let's do it. 10 of them. There's not many in stock, though. Oh, yeah. Let's go with the higher stocked ones, to be fair. And then we're gonna do 10, and then we're gonna jump up and we're gonna do 100. I think, right? 160, or is it 47? I can't remember. Maybe we'll just do this one and then we'll go up. We'll do 10 of these. So that's 10, 16, 160 volt, 10 microfarads. We're going to get rid of that. And now I think we're going to jump up in voltage and go to the 250 because we're going to need to get the same kind of capacitors, honestly, for 250 voltage. 251, we're going to need that one. We're going to need 10 of those because we're going to run into those quite a bit. We have Panasonic or Cornell Doubler. We're going to go Panasonic this time. We're going to get 10 of those. We're going to move up from that to 2.2. Go 10 of those. 2.2 microfarads. Oh yeah, we're getting there. We're getting almost that $100. I really wanted to keep this under $100. It's going to be tough. Goodness gracious, we may have to cut some stuff up and switch around some things because we're going to start to get some expensive capacitors here in a second. Give me a good price, somebody. 10 of these. Let's go with you, Panasonic. 10. This is 250 volt, 4.7. Gosh, we're getting real close. We're going to need 10 volts. Or 10 microfarads. That's what we're up to. 250 volt, 10 microfarads. What's going to give us the best price here? Who's going to do it? Rubicon! Look at Rubicon coming back with a vengeance. Only 600 in stock. So that's the trick. It's probably 600 in stock, 13 weeks. It's going to be out of stock in no time. Damn. Well, due to that, I'm going with this one because there's 15,000 of this one in stock. Okay, now we're going to skip 15. I've never seen a 15 microfarad, but I have seen a lot of this one, which is the 22 microfarad. So we're going to need to get some of these. And I'm not buying 10. They are too expensive. I'm going to get, for now, I'm just going to get, man. Really? These are expensive. Panasonic. We're going to go with 3 of these. And we're probably going to do 3 of the rest just because I don't want it to have to be over $100. I kind of want it to be under 100. We got to get 33s because we're going to run into 33s every once in a while. Not very often. I might just get 2 of these 33s. You do not see 33s very often, but you do see them. And then I think that we'll go one more. I don't know that I have any of those that are that high. 47. These are so expensive. $1 a piece. All right, guys. Let's go look at this. Let's look at this. This is almost too good to be true. 33 items. All right. So we have an entire kit of 25 volts. Okay. Which all look good, right? Everything. See how it says, we want to make sure when we're double checking, it says ship now, ship now. Man, we've got so many capacitors here, right? I mean, we've got 8 that are 25 volts and then 50 volts. 1, 9. And then we've got 12 ratings that are 50 volts. Okay, so you got 12, you got 20. Actually, is that, maybe that's 13. 13. Okay. And then we move up to 100 or 2, we skip 100 volts, we go up to 160. All right. That's really a great cap kit to start with. Like, this would get you through most PVMs, like a deflection cap kit, you could, or a TV, you might run into a couple. This would be a perfect one. And look at that, we hit it right on the, man, we got it close. $101. Hey, Muhammad, I'm actually in Virginia. I have to warn you, though, those two PVMs, the 1910 and the 2030, those have a ton of boards in them, and they are very costly to get repaired, because you end up needing to you recap one board, and it's like anything, they're so old. You know, at $300 a board is what about the average is. So if you have like 5 or 6 boards, it starts to get insanely expensive. It's so much work. It's so much more work on those older models. Yeah, like the deflection card, and then the neck board, and the power supply. And like the 2030 has 2 power supplies, an input board, a neck board, deflection card, color processing board. I mean, it has like 7 boards that need to be recapped. So they start to, it's really difficult for me to like price those any less. They become so expensive to work on. So if you're willing to do that, that's fine, but you just have to be aware that those jobs tend to be expensive if you have to get like a full restoration. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that's the big drawback for like the 2030 is it's just, we're getting to the point where these are older monitors and they just have so many capacitors in them. Now, what you could do is you could do them each one at a time. I mean, you're going to benefit from getting like, you get like half the monitor done at once or something. That's what you have to do. You have to kind of limit it to choosing like 3 of the 6 boards. Yeah, that was a 1340. That one, man, that one had so many caps. That one barely paid for itself. All right, guys, that's the literal cap kit. You can go through this stream today. It's an hour long of showing you how to order these capacitors. I think there's a lot of good discussion. If you want to check out more, I will try to take this and at some point the next day either pin it in a comment or put it in the description for this video if I can get it to save on this worksheet here and share it. Otherwise, all you have to do is do what we did. Go with those values and then you'll have a good thing, and that even includes your shipping. Your taxes might put you at 105, but man, we got it really close. We got 33 items. I bet we've got, what do you think, 400 caps in here? That's a lot. If you want to change it up, you could change up some of these values, but each individual item, is under $5 for the most part. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. I'll try to get ready for another stream where we're actually going to work on a CRT. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for hanging out and getting through this with me. I hope it was helpful. And thank you all again, and I'll see you.